Okay, so I'm working on a 2014 MB, and it had a no crank condition. So you turn the key and nothing happened. You could jump it back into the starter solenoid and it would crank. So we kind of narrowed it down to these very problematic Livorsi shift modules. And we'll kind of go through the diagnostics of that. I'll try to remember to post a wire pinout. If I forget to, you can email Livorsi and they'll give you a wire pinout. But okay, essentially how this works is these are like little handshakes that go back. So instead of just having like a neutral safety switch, it goes back to the ECU, determines whether it's okay to crank the boat or not. And keep in mind, we're just talking about the starting system. There is some other things going on with the shift system. So I know a lot of people have problems with the boat shifting hard in and out of gear, or it won't shift out of neutral. You can have different symptoms, but it's probably the same issue. But back to the starting system. So I'll kind of explain the pin out real quick. So your red wires are going to be your 12 volt positives. One is going to be, they're going to be your positive wires. One's going to be 12 volt and one's going to be 5 volt. The 5 volt is for the shifting system. The 12 volt is for the starting system. So sorry, I don't have that right either. I just said that wrong again. The 5 volt is for the throttle system. So as it gives throttle, it's 5 volts. The 12 volt is for the shift system. My apologies. But that's why it's part of the starter system, is because it will only start when it's in neutral. Okay. So if I haven't lost you yet, for your starting system, what needs to happen is there needs to be continuity between this number 12 and this number 11 wire. So you should have, if you back probe this with the key on, you should have 12 volts here and 12 volts there. Of course, if it's in neutral. If you don't, that's your issue. One thing you could do is you could jumper those two wires, try cranking the boat. If it cranks, you're on the right track. Okay, so how did we fix it, right? So we pulled this off. Keep in mind, you can send these into Livorsi. That's what they suggest that you do. When I talked to them, it was $500 plus a couple weeks downtime. So, maybe that's worth it to you. But, so here's the shift pin, or the shift micro switch. It's a little Omron micro switch right there. So you can see when it's in neutral, that when it's in neutral, these two, the pin wires are, I think it's 3, 2, and 1. So when this is engaged, you're supposed to have continuity between, I think, 1 and 3. And when it's open, when it's out of neutral, you get continuity between 1 and 2. But that probably won't matter unless this micro switch is bad. I did scrape off some of the potting using a soldering iron just to confirm that this switch was running right before I dug too deep. It seemed pretty easy to get to. So first I confirmed that this was working right. So again, I think it goes 1, 3, 2. When this is activated, you get continuity between 1 and 3. When this is open, you get continuity between 1 and 2. Okay? So here is the problematic diode. You'll see it's just a little square pin. You have to very carefully, with the soldering iron, just slowly scrape back this potting stuff, being very, very, very careful. So what I use is a really sharp kind of razor blade one, scraping around it until it's fully exposed. And you can see the direction. See that arrow clear down there? It's like an arrow with a stripe. The way the arrow is pointing is the way the energy is supposed to flow, which is also what this stripe right here indicates. So I don't remember what the size of diode was. It's pretty easy to find. Well, let's just go down and get it. Let's go check it out together. Just so we can finish up this video all in one. And I don't do edits, so deal with it. Okay. So, really any of these rectifier diodes would work. I went to the 54 series, which are going to be bigger 3 amp ones. And I'm pretty sure that's the one I used, was that. Which one was it? 5404. Nope. Yeah. 5404 is what I personally used. If I had any smaller than that, I probably would have. As you saw on the thing, it was kind of big, but it's fine. I'm just going to use some black RTV, surround that thing in some black RTV, and it should be good to go. You got to kind of bend the diode like that. This was just a practice one that I did. Pre-tin it, and then, just be very careful on your pads as you lift. So here's the original one. That's all it is. You can see the tiny little directional line, right? So there's the size difference between those two. This was a 1 amp. This is a 3 amp. So you could use a 1 amp, but they burn up, obviously, because there's many problems with them. So upgrading this to a 3 amp is a really good idea, I think. And yeah, that's how I did it.